Hey guys, what's up? Today we are checking out the all-new GLA. So let's quickly get started. We're checking out the AMG line of the new GLA. We get some aesthetic add-ons, including the new diamond grille that you have over here with the Mercedes logo in the center, and you also get a new splitter along with scoops on the side, giving it a more muscular look even for a small SUV. And of course, you have the new digital LED headlamps on the side, and the AMG line also gets these AMG trim 19-inch alloy wheels. The standard progressive gets 18-inch wheels. This color is the mountain grey color. It looks really nice. It's almost like a dark grey, deep grey. It looks great with the car, gives it a very stealthy look. On the back also, the AMG line gets certain aesthetic add-ons, including a diffuser style bumper at the back. I wouldn't really call it a diffuser, but you get a diffuser style bumper along with two tailpipes. This of course is a diesel, so you get the 220D badge over there. The tailgate is electronic and you can pop it with the remote. It's rather simple, and you have plenty of space along with a spare, which is a small size spare in the back, and all your tools and emergency triangle, etc. So the parcel tray at the back is attached to the hatch, so it goes up automatically. You can obviously remove it if you want to take it out, but in this case it's nice. And of course you can use the key itself to shut the tailgate. This car also has a kick sensor, so you can kick at the lower back end of the car to open the tailgate, and then you can kick at the lower back end of the car to close the tailgate. Really nice. Standard gas tank on your left, not gas tank, diesel tank, and then you also have the Addy Blue. Pretty nice compact SUV. And let's check out the interior. It's also been updated, and the AMG trim. One really amazing feature is the use of Alcantara in the door cards as well as the seats. And this trim also has red stitching along with carbon fiber inlays. And you can see the aluminium accents, so those are really nice. So these are actually 100% aluminum or aluminium, as you would like to call them, and they work in a better way than chrome because they will not get scratched or dull over time, and they will retain this look because of the fact that it is aluminium. So if we pop the hood, it's got hydraulic struts on the front to keep the lid open. You do have a nice engine cover over here if you want to see the diesel engine. This is a foam cover, not that plastic cover that you typically get. So dirty underneath, you don't want to look at that, so you just pop this cover back on, and you have your battery box over here, easily accessible. You also have access to your positive terminal in case you need to hook up a maintainer, and this is possibly your fuse box. Car has 360 cameras, so on the front as well as on the mirrors you'll find cameras. On the back here, you do have a camera which constantly pops out from here, and it opens up quite a lot, especially when you're driving through traffic, and it makes a distinct sound that can be annoying for certain bits. Okay, so we are inside the GLA, and this one is the AMG trim, and this one is upwards of 60 lakh rupees, which the prices, I have to say, are going up constantly on these cars. And now an entry-level car like the GLA, the entry-level SUV, not a car, is upwards of 50 lakh rupees. So this one, especially the AMG trim, is upwards of 60, which is a lot of money to pay for this size of an SUV. And because it is lacking a certain amount of features that you expect nowadays from every car. So you don't have ventilated seats or cooled seats, which is something that I feel, especially ventilated seats for a country like India, should be the norm, and it's not there in this car, especially because this trim has the Alcantara sports seats, but even in the lower variant, the progressive variant, you're not getting any ventilated seats, which is a little bit of a letdown. You do get a really nice MBUX infotainment system with a lot of information on here, and you can connect wirelessly with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which is excellent. I absolutely appreciate that. And this model, this variant, doesn't even have a center armrest at the back, and you don't even have cup holders at the back. So this is mostly a driver's trim, and if you're buying a GLA with an AMG trim, make sure you're the one who's driving, because this is mostly well equipped for a driver. Also, you have interior inlays of carbon fiber all over. You have red stitching and soft materials all over the dash, including the door panels and inside the door pockets, making this a very comfortable and quiet interior of the car. But this is a diesel, and while at high speeds it does sound very sporty, and we're in the sports mode, and you do get all your engine information here on the MBUX. When you're at lower speeds, you do hear a lot of rattling from the engine, which for a car like a GLA and a Mercedes car is rather unsightly, and you don't really expect it, but you hear it, so it does tend to bother you. And then the MBUX is constantly beeping at you and giving you warnings. So if you're buying this car, you will really need to set up the infotainment to your comfort level and also to your specific settings for the area that you're driving in. For example, the active brake assistance I think is too sensitive to drive in a city like Delhi, and it automatically brakes even if somebody just drives in front of you. And so you don't want that feature on because it actually scares you at certain points of time. So you want that on longer drives and maybe in slightly freer traffic. But if you're in tight, packed traffic, you want to turn those features off. So the AMG line is only available in a diesel trim, and this one is the AMG line. So this gives you about 190 horsepower, which is a plenty for this size and this weight class of vehicle. And you do have a lot of information, including your boost pressure, available over here. And you also get about 400 plus Newton meter of torque, which is also rather plenty, and you do have that grunt off the ground ready to go in this car. It has an extremely sporty transmission as well. So if you're somebody who likes going through traffic and sort of getting into that zone, then this car will be more than capable of handling that. The driving position is also fairly comfortable, and if you're more than 6 feet 2 inches, you probably want to avoid sitting in this interior, because I'm 6'2" and I can barely fit in here. I'm actually fitting in the panoramic roof's sort of scoop. But if you're more than 6'2", then you might struggle sort of fitting into this cabin with the seat in the proper driving position. The AMG line also feels a little stiff, but definitely comfortable for driving, and the stiffer suspension definitely makes it feel a little more dynamic. In the progressive variant, you do get a slightly smaller wheel, which does increase the tire thickness. So you get a thicker profile tire, and you get slightly more comfort on that car. And this one just feels a little tighter and easier to sort of maneuver through traffic. So one of the coolest features that this car actually has is the automatic parallel parking. So you press this button over here and this menu will pop up. And then when you drive along, not in neutral, when you drive along, it will search for a parking space. So we are now crossing a lane. You want to use that as a parking space. And then when I cross it, it should tell you to stop the car and put it in park. And then you press the P button over here again, and then the car will automatically start to. Now you do have to keep your foot on the brake, so the brakes are yours. But as you can see, the steering wheel is being automatically controlled. So that's the brake. It sounds a little dangerous, but it's going to park the car itself, and it's going to use this lane as a parking parallel spot because we don't have a lot of parallelly parked cars over here. So we are just using this as an example. And then it'll show you the front camera, and you can see that it'll measure up the front camera, and then basically it'll say that the parking is finished. So if you do have parallel parking spaces and they are available and you're afraid to parallelly park, the car can do it for you. Interior has excellent ambient light trim with about 70 colors, and you have lots of color combinations. And another cool feature, obviously, with all Mercedes-Benz is that once you increase the temperature of the lights indicate that you're increasing the temperature by showing a red tint, and when you decrease the temperature, it shows a blue tint. So that was it for the new GLA. What are your thoughts on this car? The pricing especially is something that is really special for a lot of people. But what are your thoughts on the new GLA, especially this AMG line? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, smash like, hit subscribe. And now I'm going to drive off into the sunset. The sun is sort of setting. So I'll see you guys in the next one.